Jenna Hartzell in San Luis Obispo County. She's the Executive Director of Arts Obispo and a member of the Local Advocacy Network, is going to talk about the why and how of working with the district superintendent. So let me just make sure. Jenna, are you there?
I am. Thanks so much.
Wonderful. Take it, Jenna.
All right. Hi, everyone. So I'm going to jump right in to giving you a guide to working with a district superintendent. And this guide is based off of what we recently did here in San Luis Obispo, also known as SLO, or SLO County. So I'll frequently use that abbreviation. First, let me say why working with a district superintendent and having them as an ally is so important. Your district superintendent is the person who knows and understands what's happening on a day-to-day basis at each school in the district. He or she is responsible for implementing school programs and for guiding the school board. And oftentimes their voice is the one that the school board hears the loudest or carries the most weight. Here at Arts Obispo, we are the County Arts Council, and we house the SLO County Alliance for Arts Education that was established in November 2013. Our alliance represents the entire county, which holds around 10 different school districts. So there's no way we can be at every school district or represented in every school district in a way that really makes an impact or makes a difference. So this year we decided to focus on one district or one superintendent in order to create an impact in hopes to replicate this year's kind of pilot program in other districts. So the one district we chose was Paso Robles. It's a town in the north of SLO County. And the reason we picked this district was because one, we have a principal from Paso on our Alliance leadership team who is just incredible. And also because on September 1st of this year, they hired a new superintendent, Chris Williams, who had publicly stated his support of arts education. So we kind of thought, well, this is kind of the perfect storm, and let's go with Paso because we've got something rolling there. So we met with him only a couple months after his appointment. So the two most important things to remember when you're meeting with a superintendent are to listen and to ask questions. It may seem pretty simple, but this strategy really worked for us. When we met with Mr. Williams, we asked him about his background, and then we listened. Then we asked him how the arts have impacted his life, and we listened, and we found out that his daughter's a dancer, so that was a really great point of reference for us. Finally, we asked him what his vision for arts education was for Paso's district, and then we listened. And he has big plans. This model worked well for us because he is a huge supporter of arts education, which meant we didn't really need to sell him on the importance of the arts. We didn't need to sell him on getting the arts into the LCAP. It was kind of a given for him, which was pretty awesome. We were able to kind of dive right in to how we could help him achieve his goals because we took that time to listen, and we didn't have to repeat ourselves or kind of repeat his vision. For those of you who do have some convincing to do, some questions to consider asking would be, what was your arts education like, or what is the history of this district's support of the arts? Finding that connection to the arts is really important when you're talking with a superintendent, whether it's their personal experience with the arts and arts education or their child's experience. That'll really help you build rapport and build trust down the road. So these questions can really help you when you're trying to show them also how you can be an ally. So after we heard from Mr. Williams and heard what his vision was, we kind of talked about who we were and how we could help, and then we kind of started planning the next steps. So next slide, please. First, we had to gather information. So he had asked us to help research the visual and performing arts programs that would work well in the Paso Robles district at the elementary school level. And of course, his goal is to get, the visual and performing arts at every grade level, but he really wants to focus on implementing a program at the elementary school level first. So in order to do this, we had to gather information on the number of elementary schools in the district, the number of students, the schedule of each school, and so we reached out to Patty at the California Alliance for Arts Education, and she was a huge help in kickstarting our research for VAPA programs and curriculum that would work well in the Paso Robles district. So if you don't have a personal connection to someone at the State Alliance, their website has a lot of really great information, as Sybil kind of alluded to earlier, that'll help you get started. The next step is you have to kind of keep in touch, and that includes monitoring progress and providing community support, but keeping in touch by scheduling regular meetings, like once a month maybe, with your superintendent. And they don't have to be very long, maybe like 30 minutes max. They're really just to build that rapport and build that trust and show him or her your progress. So, like I said, monitoring progress and providing community support are kind of really essential steps. You don't want to lose steam in the progress after meeting with the superintendent. You need to gather your fellow advocates and keep each other accountable, and really show the district, show that community that you're invested by showing up at board meetings, showing up as a volunteer at schools, getting on their LCAP committees. So gather your advocates and show up. That's the best way to get your community of advocates to demonstrate to the district that you're there and you mean business and you want to advocate. So that's it from me, and I look forward to answering your questions after we hear from our friends in Santa Cruz.
Great. Thank you so much, Jenna. That was really helpful. And I think one thing that always pops in my mind is, well, why would a superintendent want to meet with me? And I think you underlined really well that, you know, when you demonstrate your commitment and you show that you have community support, you know, that's helpful and of interest to a superintendent.
Absolutely. And what was key, too, is that we did have our our team member, our principal, who's very vocal in the district, and it was kind of like, oh, it's a given, you know, she's really great. Of course I'm going to meet with someone she's recommending to meet with. So she was a really great advocate to get us that meeting in the first place.
Ah, that's great too. That's great too.